This is a road in A602, Hertfordshire, or at least it was. It's the leftovers of a now disused road that might be the most recent example of an abandoned road. Usually we'd expect an old abandoned road to be exactly that, old. But it's not. This only came about in August 2023. The road in question is the A602, which connects Hitchin to Ware via Stevenage. It's seen many changes over the years because back in the old days it used to run through several small villages, but with traffic numbers increasing over the years, bypasses were built and realignments were made, and now the A602 has evolved to a point where there's barely anything left of its original form. It would be in the late 1980s that the section between Hertfordshire and Tunnel would be built, and to begin with everything was fine, but as is often the case, the traffic numbers quickly outgrew the road capacity and problems began to surface. I say problems, I mean accidents. It turns out that the road wasn't designed all too well in the first place. Let's look at why that might be. Say you're looking to do a right turn into this road, you've got no choice but to stop in the road before making your turn. This makes you a hazard, and any vehicle coming up behind you at speed could be an issue if they're not paying attention. At the very least, traffic builds up because they've got no way of passing. More so, if we zoom out a bit, we can see that there's another corner a short distance up, obscuring any chance of seeing the oncoming traffic, meaning to make your right turn it's going to be a bit of a punt. Now multiply this problem by 3 and we can see why this short stretch of road has become a bit of an issue, and yes, there is a school next door. It took quite a bit of time for a solution to be implemented. The first ideas of making any changes to the road surfaced in around 2006, and with planning and funding approved, it looked like work would begin in 2007, but the local council f***ed up their paperwork. At first they said they'll push back the start date of the project from May to October to give them time to get their shit together, but October came and went and it looked like the necessary legal paperwork hadn't been filed. The project stalled, which was a big problem because the funding was time sensitive. If you didn't start your project within a certain time frame, your funding was revoked. And they didn't start the project within that time frame, so the government took back the money to use with other organisations who had their act together. Fast forward to 2016 and the plans were taken out of storage because it looked like funds were now available to finish what they'd started some years prior, and this time they had all of their paperwork in order, so there were fewer hold-ups. The plan was quite simple: realign the road so that the corners are smoother with better visibility, and add turning lanes for those wishing to make what was previously a precarious right turn. The most notable feature is the new bridge that carries 2 carriageways over the Dane End tributary. There wasn't much of a bridge here before, and there very nearly wasn't a new one at all. Not long after construction, defects were found within the support structure, so they ended up chucking it all away and replacing it. Amazingly, they managed to do this with minimal delays because the bridge was actually manufactured on site rather than built elsewhere and transported in. As a result of all of this, we've now got this stretch of abandoned A602, which in some places is still used for vehicle access, but for the most part we'll never see a car again. It's possible that the leftovers of the road will eventually be removed and a footpath left in its place, but for now it's one of the most recent examples of an abandoned road with plenty to see. As for the future, sources suggest an increase of 100,000 houses across the wider area in the next decade or so, meaning the work done here at the A602 will soon most likely be considered not fit for purpose, with further upgrade work required. Thanks for watching.